By his standards, 2020 wasn't a great one for Big Ben. He ranked in the bottom half of the league in QBR, pass yards, and completion percentage. His 6.25 yards per attempt ranked 31st out of 35 qualified quarterbacks. Now, here's one of the reasons why we wanted to talk about Big Ben with our guys. Big Ben is on a Steelers team. Took less money to come back. The idea, run it back, maybe make a run in the playoffs. And Dan, you talked about this before. You mentioned earlier that you see a better version of Big Ben coming into this season, despite changes on his O-line, his advancing age. What do you see in Big Ben, and what's the Steelers' ceiling for 2021?
Yeah, Big Ben can still play. I mean, his last 2 years as a full starter, 18 and 20, threw for 77 touchdowns, 31 picks, and over 9,000 yards. Like, he threw for 33 touchdowns and 10 picks last year. He can still play. Now, I love the addition of Najee Harris, and I love the addition of Pat Freiermuth, the tailback from Alabama and the tight end from Penn State, okay? So 2 pieces on their offense that they bring back Juju. Deontay Johnson hopefully gets rid of some of those occasional drops. Second year of Chase Claypool. So, like, there's good players, skill position-wise, on this offense. Ryan, one of the things that I take pride in when it comes to my job is figuring out what teams and or players are going to do, or trying to do that before it happens. I cannot figure out what this offense looks like in Pittsburgh, and that's what gives me a ton of hesitation, because you talked about the offensive line being so bad last year, and I think it's going to be even worse this year. So for the new offensive coordinator, Matt Canada, I've tried to figure out, like, what is this offense going to look like? Because last year it was, okay, cover up the bad offensive line, catch and throw, but they got figured out, and that's what made that 1-4 end become a reality, as teams figured out they couldn't throw the ball downfield. So how do they do that this year? And I can't figure out schematically what this football team is going to be, but I believe Big Ben is capable of still playing high-end football.
Okay, and it's going to be interesting to see what they do within that context with a quarterback that's his age, with his injury history. Mike, I want to bring you in. What do you expect to see from Pittsburgh this season and from Big Ben?
He's going to be bad, and I expect him to be benched by the middle of the season, and here's why.
Wow.
When I was at the Jets and the Dolphins, Ben Roethlisberger was a big physical, could get the ball down the field quarterback, and stats don't always paint a picture, but in 2015, Ben Roethlisberger was third in the NFL in yards per pass attempt, meaning he got the ball down the field. Last year, at 38 years old, he was 31st. He just checked the ball down. Now, they had guys that could make plays once they had the ball in their hand, the Smith-Schusters of the world. But at 39, losing the quarterback of your offensive line and Marquise Pouncey, he's going to get rid of the ball faster. That's going to compress the field. He is going to make sure that he is protecting himself and getting rid of the ball. And when that happens, it's really hard to score points in this league, because now you have 11 defensive players closer to the line of scrimmage. So he's had a great career. It's over. They're paying Ben Roethlisberger for what he used to do, not what he's going to do in the future. And those 3 other quarterbacks in the AFC North are getting better. He's getting older, and that's a big problem for the Steelers long term.
I literally think Dan is having an allergic attack hearing you talk right now. Go ahead, Dan.
Well, like, okay. The ability to push the ball downfield and the offense's performance in pushing the ball downfield are 2 different things, okay? As a quarterback, what allows us to push the ball downfield is the offensive line. I have to have time to get my receivers and pass-catching options downfield for me to throw it downfield. Big Ben's arm can still throw. Go cut on the Colts game, okay? He can still throw the ball downfield. Go cut the second half of the Colts game on near the end of the season. He can still throw the ball downfield. They have to have the blocking to throw the ball downfield. Now, is he going to be the worst quarterback in that division? Dude, that's like, what are we saying there? Because one's an MVP and 2 are blooming stars in this league at the position. Big Ben is not the problem with the Steelers offense. The problem with the Steelers offense is their offensive line stinks, and then they don't have a schematic identity.
Mike, hang on for 1 second, because I want to bring in Jeremy to break the tie of sorts. Jeremy, what are you hearing from around the league about the outlook on the Steelers and Big Ben this year?
Well, I can't top all that. Both guys are coming in hot. But I do know the league is more bullish on the Steelers than the media, largely because of the defense. They have 4 truly dominant players: Cam Hayward, Stephon Tuitt, T.J. Watt, Minkah Fitzpatrick. You can win big with those 4 guys alone. And Dan mentioned the Colts game. I actually had a few different scouts tell me about that game that there were a few throws where Ben looked like that dude still. Can he do it consistently? Maybe not,
doubt.
but he's still got that in his arsenal. They have a ton of weapons, and the line aged in a hurry last year. They at least feel like they've gotten younger, maybe a little more nimble.
Okay, Mike, go ahead. I'll let you have the last word, I guess, in attacking Dan.
Dan made my points for me, which is when you have a 39-year-old quarterback and you have massive questions at center and left tackle, that's the worst situation you possibly could be in. If Ben Roethlisberger was behind the Colt offensive line, I can understand maybe getting another year out of him. But the confluence of a bad offensive line and a quarterback who, again, was 31st out of 32 quarterbacks in yards per pass attempt, that's going to compress the field. Yeah, he can make a throw here and there, but over 17 games, his performance isn't going to be good enough. And if I'm the Steelers, I'm concerned because you said it, there's 3 budding superstars in that division now, and you have no answers at that quarterback position moving forward.